Present.
Commissioner Rodriguez. Here. Commissioner Schwartz.
Here.
Mayor Castillo.
Here.
City Manager Dodge.
Here.
Assistant City Attorney Horowitz.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Today, the pledge and the national anthem will be led by Ariana Hudson, who's 16 years old, and she's a student at Pembroke Pines Somerset Academy. She also lives in the city. Ariana, whenever you're ready. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Wow. Wow, what a job. Ariana Hudson, thank you so very, very much. You make us very proud. Thank you very, very much for that. And good evening to all again. And starting to feel like summer out there, right? Okay. Announcements of items to be pulled from the agenda.
None, Mayor.
Okay. Thank you very much. Commissioners, I have a number of proclamations to make, and I'm going to be asking you to help me with those. I'll call you up. Thank you. We usually don't have this many proclamations, but May's a busy month, so bear with me, please. And the first one is a presentation. This is a proclamation to the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary Flotilla 38 Plantation, recognizing May 17th through 23rd, 2025 as National Safe Boating Week in the city of Pembroke Pines. Is anyone here for that? Okay, thank you, sir. How are you? Thank you for being with us today, for your service. This is a proclamation of the city of Pembroke Pines declaring National Safe Boating Week. Whereas boating continues to be popular recreational activity enjoyed by over 100 million Americans across the country, the National Safe Boating Week highlights the importance of enjoying these activities responsibly through the efforts of the U.S. Coast Guard, the National Safe Boating Council, and many of partners. And whereas safe boating begins with preparation, and the Coast Guard estimates that human error accounts for most boating accidents, with life jackets capable of preventing nearly 75% of boating fatalities. And whereas an average of 650 people lose their lives in boating-related accidents in the United States every year, the majority due to drowning, and many of these tragedies could have been prevented with proper safety practices and consistent use of life jackets. And whereas National Safe Boating Week serves to raise awareness of life-saving boating safety tips, such as wearing life jackets, staying sober while operating a vehicle, taking boating safety courses, and conducting free vessel safety checks to ensure a safer and more enjoyable experience on America's waterways. Now, therefore, I, Angelo Castillo, Mayor of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, along with the City Commission, do hereby support the goals of safe boating campaign and proclaim May 17th through 23rd, 2025 as National Safe Boating Week in the City of Pembroke Pines. Congratulations, and thank you for everything you did. Thank you so much.
So this is a week that we have every year annually, and it's basically a way to remind all of us as we move into the summer, because it's coming up. This weekend is the unofficial summer of an official start of the summer is Memorial Day weekend, and a lot of us will be on boats. Some of us will be operating boats. Some will be on boats, and so it's just a reminder as we go into the summer that whether you're on a vessel as someone enjoying the ride or someone operating the vessel, that you take care of your safety gear, you wear your cutoff switch, you make sure everything's in order so that you come back safely. And that's our job. We want to make sure that you guys come back safely after you get on the water. So thank you, Mayor and the Commission, for supporting National Safe Boating Week, and have a safe summer.
Thank you very much. That's terrific. Okay. This is a proclamation to, yes, Coast Guard, okay. This is a proclamation to Flanagan High School's Color Guard for placing 5th in the nation at the WGI Color Guard World Championship in Dayton, Ohio. Where are they? Come on up. Come on up. Line up right over here if you would. And congratulations. There he is. I was looking for you.
How you doing, sir?
How you doing?
He blends in.
Thank you for everything that you do. Flanagan High School. This is a proclamation of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida. Flanagan Color Guard top 5 in World Championship, whereas the Flanagan High School World Guard earned first place at both the WGI Regionals in Tampa and Orlando, as well as the South Florida Winter Guard Association Champions, and are recognized as the #1 guard in Florida. And whereas under the leadership of Director Nicholas Rodriguez, the 22-member team showcased excellence throughout the 2025 season, culminating in top-tier performance at the world level. You better be proud. I'm very proud. And whereas the team placed 5th in the 2025 Winter Guard International Color Guard World Championships held April 3rd through 5th at the University of Dayton Arena in Ohio, with an impressive score of 91.05 in the Elite Scholastic World Competition. And whereas this marks the first time in 8 years that the Flanagan High School World Guard has reached the top 5 at the WGI World Championships among more than 500 participating schools nationwide. Now, therefore, I, Angelo Castillo, Mayor of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, and on behalf of the City Commission, do hereby congratulate the Flanagan High School Color Guard for their outstanding achievement and commend the dedication of each team member, Director Rodriguez, and all supporters in earning the 2025 WGI Color Guard Championship finalists. Congratulations. All right, let's take a photo. It's okay, I'll stand here for an hour. Congratulations. 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 Well done. Well done. Well done. Congratulations. Well done. Well done. Congratulations. Fantastic. Congratulations. Our kids can do anything. Yes, they can. For two, you're doing good work. All right. Now we have the family of Gloria Rosenberg. Are they here? Commissioner Good, would you join us? Are they here?
Yes. You want to invite them?
Yes. Can you come up?
Can we have the whole family come up?
Yes. How are you? Good to see you. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm Gloria's daughter.
You look just like her. How are you? How are you? Good to see you. Thank you for coming. How are you? Good to see you. Hi. How are you?
Hi, sir. How are you?
Thank you for being here.
Thank you, guys.
So, I was told that Toby Natovi, Robert Natovi, Ira Rosenberg, Betty Rosenberg, Dara Frankel, Warren Frankel, and Ava and Skylar Frankel are here. Is that everybody? Okay. And who'd I miss? Okay. All right. This is a proclamation of the City of Pembroke Pines in memory of Gloria Rosenberg. Commissioner,
Yes,
Commissioner Good, will you read, please?
To hear? Yeah. This is a proclamation in memory of Gloria Rosenberg. Whereas Gloria Rosenberg was born on August 26, 1924, which, by the way, is my birthday, August 26, just so you know that. No. And she was born to Irving and Dora Dwork in the Bronx, New York. After graduating high school, she attended Brooklyn College. And whereas Gloria met and married her beloved Archie Rosenberg on May 11, 1946, they lived in New York and had 2 children, Toby and Ira. 3 children, Dara, Lisa, and Evan, and a great-great-grandchild, Athene. And whereas on January 19, 1961, Gloria and Archie thankfully survived a plane crash at the New York International Airport on their way to Acapulco. Through the years, Gloria worked as an accountant for her husband, Archie, as well as for Macy's and Dillard's. Archie and Gloria eventually moved to Pembroke Pines in 1985. And whereas after the passing of Archie, Gloria made frequent visits to the City of Pembroke Pines Veterans Memorial Park, honoring Archie's memory. And whereas Gloria began a new passion for volunteering in the City of Pembroke Pines, opening her heart to everyone she met, especially her beloved veterans. And whereas Gloria's patriotism was evident in every red, white, and blue handbag, tassel, and flag she crocheted for veterans and others to show their pride. And whereas Gloria displayed courage, determination, and a lively spirit attitude, often defying expectations associated with age. She was spunky, full of energy, and fiercely independent, driving from her home in Hollybrook throughout the city to volunteer, no less at age 98 years old. And whereas at the age of 95, the unstoppable Gloria Rosenberg was honored as Pembroke Pines Volunteer of the Year in 2019 for her dedicated volunteerism at Pembroke Pines Police Department, Alexandra Sandy Nininger State Veterans Nursing Home, Pembroke Pines City Hall, and the Carl Schechter Southwest Focal Point Community Center. And whereas Gloria's love, passion, and generosity will always be an inspiration to us, for she was a shining example of a heart that cared for everyone here in Pembroke Pines.
Now therefore, I, Angelo Castillo, Mayor of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, along with the City Commission, do hereby offer this proclamation of sympathy to the family and friends of Gloria Rosenberg and acknowledge that her memory will forever be cherished in the hearts and minds of all who had the privilege to know her. You want to say a few words? Anybody want to speak?
I wanted to thank you very much for the opportunity. And Gloria was super patriotic, full of zest and energy, and she woke up every single day wanting to volunteer to help out the city. So we're super happy to be here in her honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, let's take a photo. Ready? Got it? Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. This is a presentation, a proclamation to the Pembroke Pines Charter High School Robotics and Engineering Team, recognizing them for being named global winners of the 5th Annual Otis Made to Move Communities Challenge. And before we begin, there's a video. So let's play the video.
Over the past 5 years, our Made to Move Communities program has united students, educators, and Otis colleagues as mentors. The program aims to enhance students' STEM and leadership skills, helping to develop the next generation of talent, ensuring future workforce readiness with robust talent pipelines, and promoting ongoing innovation. This year, we asked students from across the globe to use AI to create a smarter way to navigate their cities, aiming to make mobility more sustainable and more inclusive for everyone. And more than 250 students from 16 countries and territories accepted our challenge, working through an 8-week curriculum and backed by support from Otis mentors to develop and propose their solutions. It was truly remarkable to see the creativity and innovation and deep sense of purpose displayed by all our students. And for the first time, we brought our 4 regional winning teams together to compete in a final round to determine a global challenge champion. These top performers had a chance to present their solutions to a panel of global Otis executives. We are thrilled to announce that the Americas Region team from Pembroke Pines Charter High School is the winner of this year's Made to Move Communities Challenge and our first global program champion. It was truly inspiring to see these students from Pembroke Pines and our Otis volunteers come together to tackle this year's challenge head-on, researching, evaluating options and areas of focus, and designing a new and creative solution using AI that can make a tangible impact on mobility in their community.
When we visited the Miami Lighthouse for the Blind, the CEO actually told us a story where she went into the wrong elevator in the wrong building and she was unable to find the buttons to click. Using our LiDAR scanner, you will be able to detect the distance of the buttons and of the walls in the elevator, allowing you to easily access whatever floor you want.
We had to take away the biases that we had and figure out what they needed and how we could incorporate that into what we are building.
To create something that could help the visually impaired was really important, and also learning how to work better with people as a team, speaking, presenting.
Please join us in congratulating these amazing students who put their hearts and souls into this challenge. At Otis, we're in the business of moving people, and where we see challenges, we want to solve them to make mobility easier. So we're going to keep the momentum going, igniting innovation in as many young minds as possible. Together, we can build a brighter tomorrow. Learn how you can help us build what's next and build for the future at otis.com/MTMC.
Wonderful. Where are they? Principal Baezi. He taught them everything they know. Proclamation of the City of Pembroke Pines. Pembroke Pines Charter High School Robotics and Engineering Team. Whereas the Pembroke Pines Charter Robotics and Engineering Team has achieved global recognition by being named global winner of the 5th annual Otis Made to Move Communities Challenge, an esteemed STEM competition, defeating teams from Japan, China, Turkey, and among others. And whereas the students developed IRIS, an innovative smartphone application using LiDAR and AI spatial computing to assist individuals with visual impairments. I will be offering tutoring on these subjects very soon. In navigating their environments through musical note feedback, promoting inclusivity and accessibility in urban mobility, and whereas the success of this remarkable achievement is a testament to the hard work, dedication, and leadership of the team members. Emiliano Salgado, Mia Fu, Max Wyborny, Chinedi Okpala. That was close. Chinedu Opala, Ruben Sherry, Matthew Saint-Tilius, Steve Jacob, Umar Qureshi, I'm getting closer, and Caitlin Estevez, as well as their mentor, Darlene Laffler, who, as honors biology teacher, experimental science engineer, robotics instructor, and robotics club sponsor, provided the guidance, support, and resources that enabled the team to thrive. And whereas the Pembroke Pines Charter High School team's victory earned them $35,000 award to further expand the school's robotics program. Acquiring advanced equipment and tools for future projects, including the potential development of drone technology for drones in schools, racing competitions which will continue to inspire and empower future generations of innovators. Now, therefore, I, Angelo Castillo, Mayor of the City of Pembroke Pines, along with the City Commission, do hereby congratulate and recognize the Pembroke Pines Charter High School Robotics and Engineering team for their outstanding achievement, the exceptional leadership of Darlene Laffler, and encourage all citizens to celebrate their success as a shining example of the power of education, creativity, community collaboration, and how darn awesome these kids are. Congratulations. Let's take a photo. You want to hold this?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Thank you.
These kids can do anything. Okay. Now, Commissioner Schwartz, will you join me, please? This is a presentation to Cadet Aiden Pardon. Pardon. Oh, they put an N in there. So I beg your pardon. Do this first.
With an A, yes, with an A. See that? We're going to reprint the certificate, okay? Yes. Certificate of Recognition for Aiden Arden. In recognition of your outstanding academic achievement, exemplary character, and unwavering commitment to excellence, the City of Pembroke Pines proudly honors Pembroke Pines Charter High School senior and ROTC cadet Aiden Arden on the occasion of your acceptance into the esteemed United States Air Force Academy. This exceptional milestone is a testament to your perseverance, leadership, dedication to serving a greater cause than yourself. Admission to the Air Force Academy is among the highest honors bestowed upon any graduating high school student, and your selection reflects the strength of your values, intellect, sense of duty, and I will also add a reflection on your family.
Thank you. As you prepare to join the ranks of future officers who will be safeguarding our nation's freedom and upholding the proud traditions of the United States Air Force, we commend your courage and readiness to serve with honor and integrity. As mayor of the city of Pembroke Pines and on behalf of the City Commission, we celebrate this remarkable accomplishment and express our deep pride in your success. We are confident that you will continue to inspire others, represent your community with distinction, and make a lasting impact on the service of our country. Congratulations. Hold on for this. Let's take a photo. Okay, Mr. Bonilla is going to come up, and we're going to announce the winner of the 2025 Spring Florida Prepaid Scholarship Raffle sponsored by the Pembroke Pines Charter High School. Somebody's going to go to college for free.
Thank you. Mayor, Commissioners, good evening. I'm very honored to be able to present this one of our favorite fundraisers that we have through our Charter School Foundation. That benefit our awesome Pembroke Pines charter schools here in Pembroke Pines. So wanted to just make you aware that this is a scholarship that will fund the full 4 years for any Florida university. And not only is this a great fundraiser for a great cause for our charter schools, but it's also very nice to see that the winner is going to be essentially going to school for free, as the mayor stated. So I'm actually honored to present ask Mr. Cassiano to come up, which he's going to be honored later on, to come and pick the winner of our raffle.
No pressure.
You got to be here, right, to claim the prize?
The purchaser is Jennifer Cracciolo, and the beneficiary is Alexia Cracciolo, and she is at Indian Ridge Middle School, and she's in 8th grade. The ticket was 128, and she's going to college. Okay. For the next one, I'm going to ask the fire chief and his staff to join me.
Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity. We're here tonight to recognize 2 of our firefighters with the individual commendation award for actions taken during 2 separate off-duty incidents. I want to introduce you first. With me, I have the chair for our Employee Recognition Committee, our Division Chief of Operations, Jason Stepp, and our Deputy Chief here oversees our Logistics Department, Frank Martin. And next, could I have driver engineer Sean Dorsch and Eric Marino join us, please? And since the fire service is a family affair, and these gentlemen and us, we cannot do this without our families, or they cannot do this without their families, so, and their support. Could we have your families join us as well? Yeah. Thank you. So in both cases, their selfless and decisive actions directly contributed to saving someone's life. The fire rescue agencies that responded to each of these incidences contacted us to express their gratitude and to commend these individuals for their efforts. I'm going to first begin with the incident that driver engineer Sean Dorsch responded to. In February of this year, driver engineer Sean Dorsch was driving his daughter, Lauren, who's with us today, and her friend to a dance class when he witnessed a vehicle roll over. The car landed on its roof, and the driver sustained serious injuries with their leg pinned under the vehicle. Sean assessed the situation, requested a car jack from one of the bystanders, and used it to lift the car off the patient. He then moved the injured driver to safety. When fire rescue arrived, they were able to transport the patient to a trauma center without any delays, thanks to Sean's actions. Nice job, buddy. Proud of you. Now here we come over to Eric Marino, one of our younger firefighters. Very proud of him as well. On April 5th, paramedic Eric Marino was dining at a restaurant in Fort Lauderdale when he noticed someone was unconscious, cyanotic, and was showing signs that they were choking at some point. Eric immediately began CPR until fire rescue personnel arrived. They were able to remove the obstruction using special equipment that Eric didn't have with him at the time. The patient was then transported and made a full recovery with no neurological deficits, an outcome made possible by Eric's intervention. Thank you very much. Mayor, could you help us present the awards to these individuals? As they receive their awards from the mayor, I'll just state this. These two individuals on these days demonstrated skill and professionalism while off duty. They proudly representing our city and fire department. So it's an honor to recognize you today for your actions that you took on that day while off duty. So good job and congratulations, well deserved. And congratulations to the families as well. Well, one last thing, Lauren. You were there when your father got out of the vehicle and rescued that person. What were you thinking? Mayor, you want to give it the mic?
It was a very suspenseful moment, so I have no idea.
Pretty cool, Dad.
Dad doing his thing.
Yeah. Sean, do you have anything to add to that moment?
I'm just glad I was there, sir.
All right, Shawnee. Eric, how about you? You have anything to add for that day, what you did? How did it feel?
Felt good. Get CPR certified, you can make a difference in someone's life. So.
Very good point. Nice plug. Appreciate it. Thank you both very much.
Okay, if we could just collect all of us together over here and get the picture. You guys can just move back toward the flag. It did happen. Firefighters in the front, commissioners, if we can stand in the back, but the families can. Thank you very, very much. Vice Mayor and Commissioner Rodriguez, if you could just stay with me for a second. I'll keep you from having to get up. Okay. Just stay with me for a second. Okay. Principal Michael Castellano, would you please come forward? And Vice Mayor, if you would, please read the first three whereases.
Bear with me. Whereas Mr. Michael Castellano, a principal of Pembroke Pines West Charter Elementary and Middle School, has been named the Staff of Character honoree for the 2024-2025 school year, one of Broward County Public Schools' highest recognitions for exemplary character and service, they're right, selected from hundreds of nominees by a panel of educators and community leaders. And whereas Mr. Castellano demonstrates unwavering commitment to integrity, compassion, and citizenship, as seen through his mentorship of educators, support for students, and encouragement of leadership and professional growth among his staff. And whereas his community impact includes co-founding Raising Positive Children, an award-winning forum series in partnership with the City of Pembroke Pines, which addresses critical issues facing youth and families, and has been honored with the City Spirit Award by the Florida League of Mayors.
And whereas Mr. Castellano's consistent acts of service through his church, his involvement in the Broward educational learning community, and his day-to-day presence in the lives of students and families exemplify the values of dedication, humility, and leadership by example. Now, therefore, I, Angelo Castillo, Mayor of the City of Pembroke Pines, along with the City Commission and staff, do hereby recognize and honor Principal Michael Castellano for his remarkable achievements, leadership, and dedication as a staff of character honoree, and extend our deepest appreciation for his positive and lasting impact on the lives of students, educators, family, and the greater community. Principal Castellano, congratulations.
Thank you. Mayor, thank you so much. This is an incredible recognition, and to receive this in the presence of people I admire and respect, the commission, all of you, my school family, my church family's here too. I love you guys. It means more than I could express. What unites us all, Mayor, is a shared commitment to deep desire and a deep desire to serve our community. And at the heart of that service are the character traits that we celebrate today, right? Responsibility, citizenship, kindness, respect, honesty, self-control, tolerance, and cooperation. Self-control and tolerance is what we're practicing a lot now, the last 7 days of school, but our character influences our service. And these values are not just ideals, they're the foundation that informs how we serve. They inform us how we lead, and they show us how to lift each other up. And so to my school family, I love you guys. They're right over there. There's a proverb that says, raise the children in the way they should go. When they get older, they will not depart, right? And you guys live that out every single day. You're selfless. You teach, you inspire, you motivate, you guide, and you become the best, and you help students become the best version of themselves. Not just academically, but in character and in heart. Their reward, our teachers' reward, all educators in this room, student success. That's what we strive for. So we'll be participating in the success next week when we graduate over 400, Mr. Baer, correct? Over 400 graduates. Education is the noblest of professions. I've had the privilege of witnessing this firsthand. Mayor, in my marriage for 35 years, to my beautiful bride right over there, the best kindergarten teacher on planet Earth. I see what she brings home. I see her tears. I see her laughter. And I know that each one of those are connected to children. And I know a lot of you too. So I appreciate for that. It's the dedication that sounds, it's dedication. And that's what that is. It's others focused, right? My church family who's here, and especially our lead pastor, Roby Barnes. He's saw him over there. Roby, your decision in 2020 to rename our church from West Pines Community Church to City Rev captured the true mission and vision and heartbeat of our church, to serve the people of our city with intention and with love. So thank you for that. To the folks standing up here with me, my superiors, Mr. Dodge, Mr. Bonilla, City Commission, and colleagues in the back, Dr. Mirage, raise your hand. Ms. Augustin, Mr. Chance, Mr. Bear. I've had the privilege of working with you, and it's been an honor. They exemplify all the qualities I demonstrated or demonstrated here on this sheet. And I respect you and thank you. This has been a real great journey. And for those of us in this room that have known each other for quite some time, I thank you, City Commissioners. You guys have led with integrity and honor, and I appreciate you for that.
Thank you so very much. You gotta take a photo. Yeah. Great. Congratulations. Okay. Okay, now we have Flanagan High School again, business professional America students. They placed first in the state at the BPA Nationals. You can get to announce that. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, tonight we are proud to recognize 9 exceptional students from Flanagan High School who have achieved first place honors at the 2025 Business Professionals of America Leadership Conferences. And if you could read the rest. Starting with
Competing at the regional, state, and national levels, these students have demonstrated outstanding skills, professionalism, and dedication. Their accomplishments reflect not only their individual commitment to excellence, but also the strength of Flanagan High School career and technical education programs. These young leaders are already distinguished themselves in fields such as business, finance, technology, and communications, setting a high standard for their peers and inspiring future student success. In recognition of their success, each student will receive a certificate of recognition, which I think they all have. Regional first place winners, Justin Flores for Health Administration and Health Research presentation, also recognized as a CTE Scholar recipient. Brian Medina, Ethics and Professionalism. Rafael Cruz, Business Law and Ethics. Vani Gasani, Entrepreneurship. State first place winners, Alan Lynn, SQL Database Fundamentals. Must be really smart because I don't even know what that is. Jake Massa, Banking and Finance. Marianne Rothstein, Intermediate Word Processing. Alessandra Uzgategi, sorry about that. Basic Office Systems. And National First Place winner, Isabella Suarez for Digital Communication. Digital Communication and Design Concepts, also recognized as a CTE Scholar recipient.
We extend our heartfelt congratulations to these students for their outstanding achievements and commend them for representing the city of Pembroke Pines with excellence. We are so incredibly proud of you all. Thank you very much. She's the teacher.
She's the leader.
Miss Gilbert. A round of applause for Miss Gilbert. Principal Fatu, did you want to?
No, I'm good. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Did you
Very
want to
proud of
read
the
what that,
students.
a little bit about
you
what that
actually
was?
had it, yeah.
Oh, I had it? Okay. All right, let's take a photo. Just hold out your, Okay, thank you so very much and congratulations. Stay with me for one more.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Congratulations. Well done. Thank you so very, very much. And we'll give them an opportunity to leave the room, and we thank them for being quiet as they do that so that we can continue. Thank you very, very much. This is a proclamation of the City of Pembroke Pines declaring Haitian Heritage Month. And if I could have my friend Ron Surin.
Waiting for Odd and company. Okay. Haitian Heritage Month. Whereas Haiti became the first Black republic in the world, and whereas Haiti contributed to America's independence from England, and whereas in 1809 the Haitian successful revolution bankrupted France, forcing it to sell its North America holdings that resulted in the Louisiana Purchase that doubled the size of the United States, and whereas in the 19th century, Haiti helped Brazil, Guyana, Venezuela, Ecuador, Colombia, Panama, Peru, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, and Bolivia obtain their independence, and whereas Haiti was the first nation to recognize Greece's independence as a country in 1829, and whereas the City of Pembroke Pines believes in the dignity and worth of every individual regardless of color or creed, and whereas the residents of Pembroke Pines celebrate and enjoy its diversity. Now,
Now, therefore, I, Angelo Castillo, Mayor of the City of Pembroke Pines, along with the City Commission, do hereby proclaim May 2025 as Haitian Heritage Month in the City of Pembroke Pines and urge all residents to recognize the many contributions made by the great people of Haiti. Congratulations.
Well, I just want to remind you, Haitian heritage is everybody's heritage. It's a world heritage. And you heard the long list we have here. In fact, if you are American, you owe a debt of gratitude to every Haitian because 500 volunteers of Haiti helped with the Revolutionary War and the Battle of Savannah. And on top of that, if you're Jewish, Haiti cast the remaining last vote to declare the independent state of Israel. And we've done, since we've got our own freedom, we've helped a lot of countries throughout the world to be free and did. So we thank you very much for bestowing this proclamation upon us. And we want you to celebrate, to pass the heritage to your children and your children's children, and that we become a better nation for everyone. Thank you so much.
I just would like to thank the City of Pembroke Pines, Mayor Castillo and commissioners, and my commissioner, Mr. Rodriguez, for everything you've done. We appreciate the support for our Haitian community and also with our immigration issues right now. We would like for all of you to please write to your senators and representative Congress people with regards to what's happening with the immigration issues, whether you are Republican or Democrat or non-party affiliations. Florida needs immigrants. You all know it. In our agriculture, service, hotelry, and also a healthcare industry. So please help immigrants because this country is a country of immigrants. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you for the recognition, and that shows leadership with heart. And in this time, we need the support, and we appreciate the recognition. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Madeline Noel. I want to thank the City of Pembroke Pines. Thank you, Mayor and Commission. Thank you to the community for acknowledging and also making aware that the Haitian community is a vibrant community. It's relevant. Its contributions are meaningful and impactful. Again, thank you so much for this honor.
Well, frankly, when we come to this to the City Commission home, we feel like we're in a family reunion. And I've seen a lot of people from Assistant Principal Castellano, my son was in his school when he was diagnosed with diabetes. And Mr. Bear oversaw my son when he was playing for the charter school as during the time when they had the perfect season in the football team. In fact, our mayor, who was my commissioner, he, at every step of the way, from FSU to the middle school and the high school, he kept track of him, sending us sharing picture of him, of his progress and his activities. Even after he graduated high school, he kept tracking him as he was graduating from FIU on his way to law school. The mayor has been always on our side, helping with our son. It's unfortunately, he was hit by ketoacidosis, complication of juvenile diabetes that caused his passing last month. So we are grateful. He was born and raised in the city here. So we were well surrounded with great loving neighbors and friends and family. So we thank you everyone for making the best 22 years of his life a very friendly, happy one. Thank you so much to every one of you.
Okay, and that ends, yes, that ends presentations. That was a long presentation. 10 items. Will you- Okay. Just get organized here. Presentations. Items at the request of the public?
We have none, Mayor.
Thank you. Commission order to report?
None, Mayor.
Appeals of the Board of Adjustment decisions?
None, Mayor.
Announcement of board and committee appointments?
None, Mayor.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Before we move on to consent agenda, if I may ask for your permission and with my colleagues' consent, we actually have one more presentation, which is under my item. I was wondering if you wouldn't mind it. We just go ahead and bring that forward. It's no action, it's just a presentation. This is item number 18.
Oh, on the agenda?
Yes, sir.
Yes, absolutely. Will you read it in?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So item number 18 is a presentation on the FDOT amendment, FM number 443597-1, SR-817, University Drive, FR from north of State Road 824, which is Pembroke Road, to north of Johnson Street, which proposes the project cost from $25,404,083 to $41,801,655,000.
There's a button there that says speak, if you could just press it.
So because we moved you up, it's if you guys can move through that this quickly, that would be very appreciative. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so very, very much. Item 18 is before us. Yes. Item 18 is before us, and your name and association for the record, please.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. My name is Godfrey Lamte, from Gold Associate Consultant for the FDOT District 4. I have with me here also Lance Jones. He is the FDOT Project Manager. Lance, introduce yourself.
Yes, as Godfrey just mentioned, I'm the FDOT, Florida Department of Transportation Project Manager for this
Who's
project.
going to be making the presentation?
I will make the presentation.
Okay, if you could speak close to the mic, that would help. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So basically, this project is the University Drive project spanning from approximately from north of Pembroke Road all the way to north of Johnson Street within the city of Pembroke Pines. If you can go to the next slide. So as you can see, this slide here basically shows the entire limits of the University Drive. Basically, the Broward County MPO actually did a study back in 2015 where they studied the entire University Drive to be able to make mobility improvements along the corridor. The segment that I just described, is one of the 13 segments that was identified to be improved as part of this entire University Drive corridor improvement. Next slide, please. So this here shows the project location. It's basically looking at as I said, the segment right from just north of Pembroke Road all the way to Johnson Street. It is currently a 6-lane urban divided, principal arterial. You've got 4-foot bicycle lanes from Pembroke Road all the way to Pines Boulevard, and then from Pines to north of Johnson Street, there are no bicycle lanes. We've got 45 miles per hour speed limits, and then also the North Perry Airport, just on the southeast side of the project. Next slide, please. Next slide. So this here shows the existing typical section that we have that I just mentioned, showing the 4-foot bike lanes within the segment and the 3 lanes in each direction, separated by a raised median. Next slide. And then the segment to the north of that is from Pines to Johnson Street, where there also has 3 lanes, 11-foot travel lanes, raised median, but there are no bicycle lanes within this area. There are 6-foot sidewalks on each side. And in some areas, they are separated by a buffer. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned earlier, one of the first things that was done as part of the feasibility study was to look at ways to be able to improve the mobility along University Drive, basically ensuring that we are taking care of all the different transportation modes, that is pedestrians, bicyclists, as well as vehicles. Currently, there's very limited bicycle lanes, particularly north of Pines, and then also the sidewalks are just 6 feet. As part of this process, next slide, please. We actually did a lot of typical sections evaluation, looking at different options to be able to improve the mobility, particularly for the non-motorized users along the corridor. This is one of the alternatives that we looked at originally, basically widening the bike lanes to 6 feet and then also provided it on the north side. It had a much smaller footprint and a less impact to the canal. Can you go to the next slide, please? We did a lot of evaluation with the MPO, and through that evaluation and the analysis, this was selected as the preferred alternative. Basically, what it does is it replaces the 6-foot sidewalks on each side of the corridor with a 10-foot shared use path. So it's a much wider shared use path that can be used by both pedestrians as well as bicyclists along the corridor. Although this has some much more significant impact to the canal because of the wider roadway footprints. And also it has additional costs as part of that. Next slide, please. So this is just a rendering showing you how, between north of Pembroke Road to Pines Boulevard, you're going to have the shared use part on one side. We actually eliminated the shared use part on the east side, number one, because that area mostly serves, just the airport, and there's not much pedestrian activity in that area. But we still provided for the buffer, 7-foot buffered bike lanes along that section of the corridor. Next slide, please. The next slide shows the segment that goes from north of Pines Boulevard all the way to north of Johnson Street. As you can see, you've got the 10-foot shared use part on both sides. You have the 3-foot, the 3 lanes in each direction, the raised median, as well as also we do have guardrails along that section also to protect the vehicles from the shared use part, as well as primarily the canal as well. Next slide. Other things that we also, as I mentioned, we're also looking, part of the project is also to provide accommodations, for the transits, making sure that we have, bus shelters. We worked with the Broward Transits to be able to provide additional shelters along the corridor as well. So that is something that is going to be a part of this project. And also making sure that the connections to these bus shelters are, meet all the requirements. Next slide, please. One of the big things that was a part of this project was drainage improvements. As I mentioned earlier, due to the wider footprints of this roadway, there's a lot of significant impacts to the South Broward Drainage District Canal, which is located on the east side of the corridor. With that, we had to actually put in a lot of, retaining walls to be able to make sure that we're still providing enough capacity for the canal in order to be able to handle the drainage events, the 100-year flood events if those should occur. Another thing I just wanted to mention is that, through the South Broward Drainage District, we actually had to dredge this canal an extra 3 feet to be able to make sure that we restored it to the original, the original shape or the original capacity that it had. It hadn't been restored for a very long time. Next slide, please. We're also doing signalization improvements at all the 5 signalized intersections along the corridor. Most of 3 of them, we're actually replacing all the mast arms due to the changes that improvements we're making, and also making sure that we're providing, pedestrian connectivity, upgrading all the pedestrian signals that within those signalized intersections as well. Next slide. There's also lighting improvement that we're doing, and along the entire corridor, we're going to be replacing all the lights, providing LED lighting throughout those areas. We also did a lot of coordination with the FAA as well for those light poles. Next slide. Signing and pavement marking. Basically, we're going to also be upgrading all the sign and pavement marking. We're going to be doing both the signs along the corridor as well as also the pavement marking. All the signalized intersections are going to have high emphasis crosswalk to enhance safety for the pedestrians and bicyclists along the corridor. Next slide. One of the main things that I know was as part of the agenda for this project was to discuss a little bit about the increases for the project. We began this project back in 2021, just right after COVID, and there was a lot of price escalation based on that. So a lot of the cost increases, were due to, just construction material costs just going up over the years. The second thing also was the fact, as I mentioned to you, basically going into the canal resulted in us having to provide a lot of, retaining walls. Basically, you see those retaining walls, and then also the slope, we call them the riprap, fabric form riprap. All of that are very expensive. And once you go into the canal, you need to provide all of these to be able to get a permit from South Broward Drainage District. So all of these added to the cost of the project. And as I said also, just having to excavate 3 feet deep, it feels like it's small. But when you excavate 3 feet, you have the retaining wall has to go 3 times deeper. So you excavate 3 feet, retaining walls goes 9 feet deeper. So all of these added to the cost of the project, which resulted in it increasing from 25 million to 41 million currently. Next slide, please. So currently, this is the schedule that we have. We just completed the design phase of the project. The letting is going to be in August of 2025, and construction is anticipated to start in December of this year as well. Next slide. Next slide. So this is just the last slide, just showing the contact information for Lance Jones. As I mentioned, he is the FDOT project manager for this project. And with that, we take any questions that you have.
Vice Mayor, Commissioner Good?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So thank you for the presentation. Mr. Mayor, I did ask for this presentation to be brought forward. I think it's important for our residents to know that we are receiving a very good project from funding, which is through the MPO. This is essentially my MPO report because this is a project that we just in this May, approved this project increase. And as you can see, it's nearly 100% increase in this project. The cost went up substantially. And what's really important too is to know that University Drive is one of the major corridors for us in the historical portion of our city. It has an incredible amount of traffic, whether it's vehicles, buses, bicycles, pedestrians. It is full of stuff, and this project here is improving mobility, it's improving safety. And I think probably what is the most telling on this project is when you take a look at what's the existing, what the corridor looks like today versus what's going to be proposed. And so we're very, very thankful that we are getting a good product out of the state funds, out of the MPO, brought to the city of Pembroke Pines. And I just thought it was very important to bring that forward and so that we are aware of projects that are being done for our benefit. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for the presentation, Vice Mayor, for you bringing it forward. I just had a few questions, if I might. So we know that construction costs with respect to road projects are going up. I hear it from my colleague mayors and commissioners, not just here, but everywhere that I go. It is a topic that we are going to be exploring a little bit deeper when I go to Tampa later this month for the U.S. Conference of Mayors, costs of government-related construction. How do you lock in these costs? Have you entered into a contract yet? Because there's concern that these costs will continue to escalate.
So the FDOT basically has a process where they would send this project out to bid, and the contractors would bid on those prices. We typically do not, lock in the cost. We have historical costs unit prices that we use, and basically what we do is we always update them on a monthly basis. So that ensures that we have the latest and the greatest. And these are coming from, the most recent bids that the various contractors have actually bid on similar projects. So we have a fairly good idea of what the project is going to cost. But the real cost of it comes down to when the project is let, which is really the August dates that I actually
Yeah, that
mentioned.
was my second question.
Yes.
So what is your schedule for moving forward and beyond letting the contract out and construction timeframe? What are you looking at?
So as I said, the letting date is when the basically the FDOT gets all the various bids from the various contractors, and then they make a selection of who is the winning bid. So that is anticipated to occur in August of this year. Now, following that, go through the negotiations.
This coming August?
Yes, this coming
that quickly.
August.
Wow.
Yes, this coming
Good.
August, yes. The project, the design is already completed, so we're just, packaging it to send it to central office Tallahassee so that they can start the bidding process. So this August, we would know which contractor is going to start working on this project. It typically takes about anywhere from 4 to 6 months for the contractor to mobilize. So we anticipate that by December to early next year, they would start working on this project. You would see.
Wonderful, wonderful. Commissioners, any other questions?
Yes, Mayor. Thank you.
Mr. Schwartz?
And what's the anticipated completion date?
So for a project of this size, this is a fairly, a big
Large.
project, significant project. You're looking at anywhere from 2 to 3 years to get it done. There was an adjacent segment that was done, within the Miramar section.
It came out beautiful.
It came
absolutely
out
beautiful.
good, but that was it just proportionally, that was on a much smaller scale compared to this one.
Smaller scale, but similar challenges for
Yes.
mobility. So Miramar and Hollywood and Pines residents use Airport Road as a reliever from Pembroke University and Pines University, and they'll come out at Airport Road, as you mentioned. Our Howard Foreman campus is getting larger and larger, and we're currently experiencing traffic signalization where when the light turns green, most people would make a left or a right, but now we're going straight across, actually crossing University. So this is probably something that may not have been looked at, but it needs to be resolved so that our fine police officers don't have to keep doing crash reports, because I imagine that's probably what's going to happen in the future. Number two, there is a significant amount of jaywalking on the northbound side of Pines Boulevard, north on University Drive. It's probably one of the busiest transient stops in South County. As a result of that, we have people getting off the bus and putting themselves 10 cars deep trying to cross University Drive into our economic center. I see that there's a shared walk path. What I'm hoping for is that we create a choke point to not allow folks to actually walk into traffic, but to push them towards the actual crosswalk. Right now, the bus lets off, I'll just call it 100 feet. I'm not pulling out a measuring tape today. About 100 feet north of the actual corner. So they get off at the front of the bus and they walk across instead of going behind. That is a significant issue. And Chief Vargas knows how many times we text each other in the morning about issues in that corridor. Number three is the, okay, so I had that. Can you go back to, there's one other slide. You mentioned the Airport Road, the Pines Boulevard. There were three items.
It's
And
a signal, it's on the signal slide, yes.
keep going. Oh, there we go. Okay, downlighting. I cannot stress enough. You can go up one slide. The lighting improvement, we have to make sure that there's no light pollution sideways. It has to be down. Given this corridor, it would be a safety issue for those who aren't using the road. However, BCAD has delayed their mobility along Airport Road, but they have asked me, knowing that this project was coming, if there's a way that we can have a blended path lighting into Airport Road to allow to have a little bit more lighting, because the community, they walk a marathon a day, and there's just not enough lighting along that section of Miramar and Pines leading into Broward College. So I'm all for government working together in the smartest solution, but there is a need right now. So perhaps when we get into the final phases of Airport Road, that we work with BCAD to figure out what they may want to get started so that we have everybody there at the same time, especially if it's being bid out. So I don't want to see something dug up twice. You know what I'm saying? So as far as the drainage district, that canal certainly has the capacity, and with the county now connecting their lift station and going sewer, there's less of an environmental impact on that canal as far as runoff goes. So thank you. I'm looking forward to this project. I'm looking forward to north of Johnson Street as well, because Sheridan, well, we share, Mayor, we share 4 different cities at that corner, believe it or not. So I'm looking forward to see what kind of creativity comes about with that mobility center, because we certainly need some help there too. But thank you. And thank you, Commissioner, for bringing it forward.
Thank you. Anyone else on this?
I would just like to say that this is a prime example of a physically separated bike lane, or at least a larger sidewalk where we can have pedestrians and cyclists run through. And that is something that when we're looking at these projects, I always like to point out, because paint on a road is not safe. And making sure that we have a physical barrier for these cyclists and these pedestrians to feel a little bit more safe in is ideal. Additionally, I wanted to ask which direction you guys were going to be starting with, north, south, or when should we be expected for this project to impact our community?
So as far as this is more on the traffic control side of things to get the construction started. Those are typically dictated by the contractor. We do provide them with some guidance, but at the end of the day, they basically they may come up with their own solution, but we will still have to review it to approve it. One of the things that we try to do on any of these projects is to put in specifications such that the contractor is not working on both sides at the same time. So he could decide which direction they're going to go first, but mostly what we try to limit them is to avoid them, causing too much, disturbance or interruptions to the driving public, as well as the residents and the neighboring, properties or businesses. So that is something that is going to be, as far as which direction, that is going to be on the contractor, but we always put in safeguard measures so that they limit the amount of
Gotcha, and I assume communication will come when this is moving along a little bit further as to what dates we should be expecting specifically within our city. And I just ask administration I know FDOT puts a lot of information out on their social media and emails, and we get those reports, but if we can also put that information on our social media so people don't have to necessarily come to us and ask that information, and rather they can find it themselves, or we can refer them to it, but I think it's really important for us to do that legwork as well.
Yeah, I agree. The communication is very important. Our folks want to know in advance so that they can make decisions. So please keep us informed ahead of time what you plan to do and where you plan to do it, so that we can let them know.
Yeah,
All right?
Mayor, and one last point. We have a school bus depot at Airport Road. Look, construction starts early, and so do school buses. And so there's a specific time where that entire farm comes out, and there's a specific time where they come back in. We're already experiencing, Commissioner Good can attest, that we have gridlock 5 o'clock in the afternoon northbound. I don't know what it is about the northbound lane between Pembroke and Pines Boulevard. It's gridlock. Southbound, we're dealing with the DMB nonsense, but northbound, something is going on with that corridor. And I don't know if it's because of the changes in Miramar and making a choke point, but I'm hoping that this alleviates some of that concern, because we can't have an F road in this section of the county.
Yeah, I think, as far as the capacity of the corridor, we're still maintaining the 3 lanes in each direction as it is currently. There are some areas where, there is a right-hand lane. We're still maintaining that, or even making it, a little better than what it is right now. So hopefully with the improvements along the corridor and the separating the bicyclists and the, pedestrians to one side, so they are a little bit more further apart, that would help with minimizing the, interactions and the conflicts within the corridor. So hopefully that would help with the traffic improvement. And also, I know you talked about the signalization. That is something that, anytime they put up these new signals, these are going to be, at least the 3 that you saw, they're going to be brand new. All the mast lamps are going to be replaced. So they're going to have to retime all of them, so all those things will be taken into consideration as they do the retiming for these signals.
Thank you very much. Anything else?
Yeah, just to echo Commissioner Rodriguez on communication, what she said, I won't add to it. Signalization, I was going to ask about the new traffic signals. I know that's more Broward County because they manage it, but everywhere in the city, everywhere in South Florida, it doesn't matter which county, which city, we have issues with signalization during peak hours, whether it's school drop-off or pickup or rush hour when folks are going home. So I was hoping that they were compatible. I don't have a question. I want to thank you all for the work that you did on Pines Boulevard, entering I-75, the additional lanes. I've worked in government a little bit. You don't really get thanked. So I wanted to thank you all because you did a very good job. I use that road almost every single day. I don't know if the two of you were particularly on it, but the agency in general and my residents in Century Village appreciated the resurfacing that you did on Pines Boulevard. They do ask. That's why, to Commissioner Rodriguez's point on community, they ask a lot of questions. So thank you for doing that, and the cleanup also, because I know we had to store some vehicles on the green space, on the grasses. You all replaced the grass, so it's not a complaint, it's not a question, it's a thank you.
Thank you.
Indeed. Thank you very much for a very informative presentation. We
Thank
look
you.
forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioner. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioners, I remind you that at the end of this regular meeting, an executive session has been called, and that will be held on the fourth floor. The consent consent agenda today consists of items 1 through 14. What is your pleasure?
Mayor, I'd like to pull items 1, 9, and 10.
Hernandez, 1, 9, and 10.
But if no one else pulls, I'll motion to approve the rest
Hold
of
on.
it.
1, 9, and 10. Anyone else? I will entertain a motion for items 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Moved by Commissioner
second
Good.
it.
Is there a second? Seconded by the Vice Mayor. Any discussion? Any from the public? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Show passes unanimously. Commissioner Hernandez, you're recognized. Item number 1.
Motion to rescind the award of IFB number RE2409 shade structures at Maxwell Park and Josiah Dog Park from Shade America, Inc. in the amount of $49,137 and to award the most responsive/responsible bidder, Industrial Shade Port, Inc., in an amount not to exceed $58,863.20, which includes an owner's contingency in the amount of $5,351.20.
Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Rodriguez. Vice Mayor, you're recognized.
And I intend to vote for the item, but it's been an ongoing question that I asked in March. I was out with COVID, so I was not here. I called in, but I do read the actual agenda items. I've gone through the history and a couple of points that I wanted to ask administration, and I am the one that asked a bunch of the questions in the Monday night memo.
Okay.
At the time of bid submission, this is a response from the administration because I asked, could the city have determined prior to the December 2024, March 2025 period that Shade America, Inc. was unable to comply with the required insurance provisions? So my question was answered. I'm not going to read it all because we'll be here a while. But at the time of bid submission, Shade America certified their ability to comply. Later on, to summarize, it was determined that it did not. They could not actually comply, and the city relies on certifications to ensure compliance. It wasn't until after the award on December 18, 2024 that they disclosed cost-related issues with obtaining the required license. My question is, maybe it's not to be answered tonight. Maybe it's after a process where the administration comes back. This is not a large sum of money. I'm not saying $5,351.20 is a large sum of money, but I'd like to see if we could avoid having in the future, and this is maybe something they have to memo us. I don't know. Commissioner Good, Schwartz, and the mayor have been here much longer than I have. How we can avoid in the future saying, look, we allow this award to go forward, and then it turns out that the folks that we awarded to could not comply. And then it gets brought back, and then project gets delayed in getting done. This isn't my district, but I'm still concerned because it's overall, it's something that happens. I don't know if that's something that can be answered tonight, if you all should memo us, but to avoid this in the future, having to come back 5 months after the commission awarded it for what is a small sum of money, but it's a vendor who said they could comply. They were in compliance, and they were not.
Mr. Dodge? Your thoughts on this?
Yes, we did provide a response in the Monday night memo. We certainly will look at it and we'll provide some additional information in a memo to the mayor and commission.
Anything else?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to
Yes,
comment.
sir.
Yeah, I really do understand the frustration about, having bids come before, be awarded, and then having to go back. And I can understand why this one did, because I understand that the insurance piece doesn't come until after you do an award. You don't know. You would expect that whoever's making the bid reads the bid documents, know what the insurance requirement is, does their due diligence, and figures out what that's going to cost and would include it in their bid. But, if they didn't, and then, the city wouldn't know until they get to that point of we're getting ready to ink a contract. So, my thought, I'm looking forward in this is, how do we prevent companies that are making these kind of bids to us and not able to honor them? How do we keep them off the list in the future? And maybe that word gets out. If your bid is not correct and you come in and you can't honor it, you are going to be banned for some period of time from making a bid because you could not honor it, so you were not truthful, and so how could we trust anything else that you provide us? And so I think maybe, Mr. Mayor, that maybe staff could also be given some kind of instructions to be looking at how to prevent vendors who make a bid, who can't honor the bid, and ban them for a period of time before they can bid on any work again. Because I do agree with, the Vice Mayor's point, but I just don't know that staff can actually, on some occasions, prevent that, and we're going to still see this again. But again, if we have a mechanism in play where somebody knows if I don't honor the bid, I'm going to be banned from bidding for some period of time, that might be a bit more incentive for them to come through, or maybe to do their due diligence before they make the bid. So,
Thank you for that. Good point.
So could that
Anything else?
be, how do we ask administration about maybe adding that?
Mr. Dodge, if you would meet with purchasing and see what's going on with that possibility. I know that IRS has a similar problem, has had similar problems, and they resolved it by creating a pro forma. You can't just submit a tax return on any form. It has to be theirs. And they have, how should I say this? They've succeeded in being comprehensive by making sure that every box had to have either a number or a zero. And I don't know whether collecting bids that way is possible or not, but and I also don't know whether we can deal with the potential uncertainty of a vendor in good faith thinking that the insurance cost is X, and then on the cusp of actually going into contract, the insurance company says, sorry, the price went up, and it creates a burden in a competitive process, which is already sort of razor thin in terms of its margin, to come up with another number. We've had these disappointments before. They tend to be, Commissioner Schwartz, rare.
Yes.
Does it happen that often?
On one hand,
But it has happened before. I think I agree with you that we should whittle away at it. But it happened in this instance, and I think that we just need to go and try again. More important to me is that we get the work done at these particular locations because it's important to the children. So I agree with the comments, and if there's a way that we can make it better, we certainly should. Mr. Dodge, anything on that?
No, we'll review it, Mayor, and we'll get back to the commission.
Anything more on this?
Yeah,
Yes.
quickly, I see the city attorney leaning in a little bit. I think there's an opportunity in the, to Commissioner Good's point, I believe it would be a scoring criteria to ask a vendor if they've ever had a award rescinded or failure to perform in any city within a period of time, and that could be a scoring mechanism that'll let the city attorney say. I think an outright ban might raise some challenges. The second would be the performance bond. There are certain projects that performance bonds need to be posted. We need to collect on them. And then there's one thing that Commissioner Good had brought up years ago, and that was this 10% owner's contingency. I'm getting really tired of seeing this 10% owner's contingency. I'm like absolutely tired of seeing a 10% owner's contingency. If just make it the bid, you know, for it to come back. We see things this pick it, $5,300 on this one, but 10% of $1 million is $100,000. Doesn't have to come back. We have to tighten this ship up a little bit when it comes to owner's contingency.
I don't know.
Especially with some of the some specific types of bids where it's based on price. Like, why would there be a contingency on price? That's what they bid. That's the price.
I can tell you, I've been in government now 40 years. Every single contract that I've been part of in construction had an owner's contingency, because you can have any number of things happen with a project. You can have a site condition.
The only thing about this 10% is it doesn't have to come back to us. I think there needs to be. I think there needs to be some type of mechanism where if a contract is, if there's a request for additional money within that 10%, the commission needs to know. What we have currently here is that it doesn't come back. And we need to know these things. You know, there are, we can't continue to think that we're going to make changes if we keep doing the same thing over and over again. We have to look at the expenses that are being requested of across the board. And as the policymakers, we need to know when these things are being triggered. It could be a 30-day report. It could be a 2-month. It could be whatever we decide to ask the manager for. But it should be something just like with the financial reports that we get. Here is those who asked for and were awarded their 10% owner's contingency. And if any one of us want to put it on the agenda and ask why, I think that's the right thing to do. But if we take a look at the overall amount of procurement that we have on an annual basis and tag 10% on that, it's a big number.
It's not that the 10% is tagged. It's that the contingency is provided for. Our experience in Pembroke Pines has been that we ask for the contingency, and it's very rarely used. But when it is used to accelerate the project rather than bring back, to make this board a change order board that has to review every change order. That said, I think that any commissioner, I think we could all agree that we should receive periodic reports on any contingency spending. And certainly, if a commissioner wants to bring an item here because they dispute the need of the use of contingency, they can do that.
Yeah.
So I don't see why. Ms. Dodge, do you have a problem creating a contingency report that comes out, I don't know, every 2-3 months?
We certainly can provide that information during the course of it.
Yeah, I mean, because
remember,
most contingency doesn't get spent.
Folks on the new budget board, I've been asked by residents about 10%, and I'm just taking this opportunity now to discuss it. This isn't like the 5 of us deciding this. The public is generally interested when they see, look, we are the ones who are supposed to know the process, but when the public sees 10%, it needs to be explained. It needs to be validated. It needs to be understood. In
But I'm
layman's terms.
explaining to the public, 10% contingency, sometimes 15% contingency is standard practice in construction. Every project has a contingency. Otherwise, you would never be able to move anything. You can have a site condition. You can have an economic condition. You can have a labor strike. Any number of things can trigger a contingency, and it's standard to the process. And we have been fortunate that the way we project manage within Pembroke Pines, contingency is pretty rarely used. And so when the public asks a direct question like that, I think the easiest thing to do is just to give them the simple answer. It's standard practice to have a contingency in a construction contract of any magnitude.
Mayor, without objection, can we direct the city manager to provide us a memo for contingencies in the last 24 months?
He's going to.
I want to shorten it up. The last 24 months. So our current.
Mayor, there's so many
fiscal cycle?
contracts that would be very time consuming to look at every single contract. As you said, Mayor, there are site conditions that may occur. It could be something with an easement with FP&L. There could be a line there that wasn't anticipated as part of the bid. We certainly can provide the information, but go back 24 months, I think is really unrealistic.
Mr. Dodge, relax. I'm just asking, we're in the current fiscal year and last year. Look, I asked for stuff from last November. I haven't gotten that either. And we're already past that.
What was asked?
Well, we're not tonight, sir. But let's, if it's going to take you, if you need more time, fine, but just bring it to us. That's all I'm asking.
Okay.
Just bring it to us.
Anything else on this?
And if I could be helpful in any way, let me know.
Mr. Mayor, I do want to weigh just a little bit. You're right about standards in the practice and things like that. And there are also times too that the differences between the type of bids we have. If we have an RFP, typically, you're right, absolutely. There's always a contingency that's associated with it. But an ITB or an IFB with price only, it's a little bit more defined. But I'm not going to say that maybe those ITBs might not have a circumstance where you might have to pay a little bit more. But I am really kind of focused a little bit on what direction we're giving to the city manager, because the city manager did say it's very difficult to get information, but I thought we worked in a world of electronics. I thought we have new products that manage all of our contracts. We have new financial systems that are able to, quickly, you should be able to quickly query projects. And, what kind of direction are we giving to the city manager? If it's not 24 months, then what could be something? And I'm not actually looking at projects that are currently active. I don't think active projects would provide us any kind of information that would be relevant because the projects aren't closed. But there's certainly a number of projects that have been done. They've been brought to us. And, we have the we have the software to be able just to query out, a period of time for some projects and find out which projects actually use the contingencies and which ones didn't, because I think that information is actually very important if we want to continue this conversation.
I don't disagree. Mr. Dodge, do you have enough information so you can provide?
Yes, I do, Mayor.
Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Anything further on this item? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Show passes unanimously. Commissioner Hernandez, we are on item number 9.
Excuse me. Motion to approve the change order for the purchase of 50 additional point-blank ballistic shields and transport bags for the police department from Federal Eastern International LLC in the amount not to exceed $346,150, utilizing the state of Florida alternate source contract number 4615150, N as in Nancy, ASPO 21 ACS, pursuant to section 3518C5 of the city's Code of Ordinances.
Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Rodriguez. Vice Mayor?
So obviously I want to approve what our police department needs. It's just another question of, actually this was one of my first votes. I think it may have been my first vote when I was appointed on May 15th of last year. So I want the police department to have everything that they need to protect this community. But again, it goes back to a procurement issue. I intend to support this request. But when the average citizen sees that we purchased, and I appreciate administration's responses, because there were, again, I'm the one asking these questions. When I see that we purchased in fiscal year 2024 125 ballistic missiles, is there a better way to project into the future? Because obviously these are large numbers. I mean, they're not in the millions, but it's $346,000 that, and 346,150. Is there, and this is to administration, is there a better way to project future costs? Is it something that we may have to write? I don't know if it's legally sufficient. Jacob, you'd have to tell me that, but.
Well, let's ask the city manager to answer your question about projecting these costs. Mr. City Manager.
Could you repeat that, Commissioner Good?
So, for example, on May 15th, 2024, we approved it. We approved, I believe it was 125 ballistic shields. And we're being asked for 50 more. Obviously, I want to approve what it is the police department needs to protect the community. But is there a way to better inform the commission a year out? I know it's a different fiscal year. I know there are round numbers. I know projections change based on tax collection. I understand all that. But $346,150 is a lot. Is there something that we could do to better prepare the commission in whether it's backup documentation or maybe even in the item itself, even if it's a previous fiscal year, where we say, this is one purchase, but, and I'm not saying this needs to be the wording, but we anticipate the possibility of future purchases in the next fiscal year, giving a range. That's just something I'm asking about. It could be a memo if my colleagues approve of it, but I'd like further information because these are large purchases. I know that the last item was $5,000. I appreciate that. This one's not. This one's $346,000. So I just would like clarification on if that's possible, Manager.
I think it's certainly possible. The police department can look at the warranty on each one of them and do a projection and give you an estimate, whether it be the balance of this fiscal year or for futures when those warranties are up, because after 5 years they have to replace it. So we certainly could provide that and provide that information in an agenda item when it comes up.
Yeah, and I'd appreciate if it, because there's a lot in here, and yes, I do read the agenda, but some items have 30, 40, 50 pages. If it could be high up on the agenda item or in the early pages saying, this is what we're asking you to authorize the purchase of on this evening, but moving forward, we anticipate or project that we may need X. And it doesn't, we won't hold you to it, but a range of some kind so that, at least for me, I don't know how my colleagues feel. I'm only speaking for myself, but, and this goes for any department. I'm not picking on police. Police is just the item, but for future agenda items for every department.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Good catch. Anything, anyone? Yes? Yes, Commissioner Rodriguez.
I understand where the Vice Mayor is coming from. I just wanted to point out that I lost it on the Monday night memo, but I believe it was because they can't really purchase some things in advance because they may lose, not value, but they may lose their usage while being in storage before they even come out. So from my understanding between that part and the fact that funds were not available for that year for these 50 additionals, and this is a different budget year in which we're looking at it, that was some of the justification because I did ask a question on that. And the reason, from my understanding, is that it is a change order instead of a new bid is because they didn't want to go back and start the procurement process again. So I felt that those justifications made sense to me, but I do agree that we should have more or less a vision at least as to what we're going to be purchasing, whether it's specified in the budget or at least month to month what we should be expecting so that we can see an example of these bigger purchases, not every single detail, but I actually met with our IT department and they gave me, because IT comes up a lot, so they gave me a very broad idea of what are the major expenses that they go through on contracts that are a little bit more on the annual side and continuous, and that was very helpful to me, and maybe we can get something similar from PD side. but I felt like the justifications were valid on this one
Yeah,
as well.
you raise a good point, and that point was in the Monday night memo. I simply believe that, though I have to tell you, I think that the city department heads do a really, really good job with the agenda review forms. Had that story been told in the agenda review form, this might not have come up. So when it's just a point, Mr. Dodge, to your fine staff, and I say that with great pride. Tell us the story in the agenda review form, and if you do that, I think we'll be more understanding of these kinds of things. Commissioner Schwartz.
Thank you. Chief Vargas, I want to take the opportunity on this item to thank you. I rode live shift, full shift yesterday. Chief Serino, thank you for coordination. A few years back, I had the honor of wearing Chief Justino's vest, and I looked at the tag to make sure it wasn't expired, right? So they do expire, and they do have to be changed. And basically, this is what it is. Now, maybe it was the Citizens Police Academy training that I had years ago that when I read the actual item, I knew the reason. And then the memo that came out last night basically, confirmed what I had already figured what was going on. But yeah, it's one of those things where we have an opportunity maybe to jump on another a sheriff's contract or something like that, but we just don't have. The milk hasn't expired yet, so why are we going to bring them on and put them on the shelf? We want to be able to utilize that. Ballistic shields, vest, and some other things. So I'm happy to support the item. And again, thank you, Chief, for doing. If you haven't, colleagues, if you haven't done so already, get with this new unit. They're phenomenal. It was a good night last night. It was Pembroke Pines is safe, and the residents should be proud of the work that the men and women do every day. This is something that it's just a part of the process, the minutia of police work to make sure that what they do receive is fresh, new, and ready to go on day one and can last 5 years. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to delay the voting on number 10 until the dais is full. In the meantime, ordinance and resolutions, second resolutions. We have, well, I think the next time, okay. All those in favor of item number 10, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Number 9, excuse me. Please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Show that passes unanimously. Vice Mayor, you're recognized for item number 10.
Motion to approve the change order for the purchase of 73 additional point-blank ballistic helmets with upgraded padding for the police department from Galls LLC in the amount not to exceed $27,010, utilizing the state of Florida alternate source contract 46151-500 NASP 021 ACS pursuant to section 3518C5 of the city's Code of Ordinances.
Is there a second to the motion? Seconded by Commissioner Good. Vice Mayor, you're recognized.
Again, just the same thing. The
Same
police officers, as I've mentioned in a previous life, I oversaw all the communications for the largest sheriff's office in Florida, the 7th largest law enforcement agency in the United States. So I certainly want you all to have what you need. And as I've said on numerous occasions, this department is second to none. My frustration continues to be if we could just let the commission know in advance in anticipation of future purchases. Because with this one, the previous item, which of course I supported, but I'm pointing out by pulling the item, is a lot of money, and the one from March were over $400,000 in change orders. So at least for my benefit, as one of the 5 up here, I'd appreciate some kind of information prior to anticipating what it is that we may have to purchase in the next fiscal year. That was all.
Thank you very much. Anything further on this?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I understand where the vice mayor is. It's the word change order. That's the key word. what are you?
It's a dirty one.
Yeah, it resonates with folks. So one of the questions as the vice mayor was speaking, I was asking myself is, you know, if we fully know what all we need and the process that we're doing is we only buy what we, well, let me slow down. If we know what we need for the year, we're only buying what we need for half the year, and then the other second half of the year we got to buy the rest, but we buy it on a change order. Is there no way that we can't do a full year blanket purchase order so that the purchases can be made, so the approval can be made at the dais, and then the purchases can be made in different time frames, and not have change orders?
I'm not positive I understand what you're saying. You're saying if we know during the course of the year you might need 100 helmets, and in the first part of the year they ordered 50, and then we come in with a change order to do the other 50. Is that your question, Commissioner?
Well,
or are you asking if they all should be purchased at one time?
No, the reason why this change order has been explained is because they couldn't purchase it at the time they made the original purchase, and one of the reasons was because they were going to expire. And so they didn't want to purchase it until when they really needed it. But if they knew they needed it for the year, why wouldn't it be just a blanket purchase order, and then you make your procurements in intervals of when you need that product, as opposed to making a purchase and then having to call a change order out, because a change order is a problem. Change orders typically mean I didn't know. You know, something happened that was unexpected, and things of that nature. And I think what the vice mayor is moving towards is know what we need in advance, and then if we know what we need in advance, we put a blanket order if the purchase has to be in different intervals, as opposed to a one-time purchase for everything.
Mr. Dodge, can we explore that and get back to us with what's possible there?
Yes, Mayor, we will.
Thank you very much.
Mayor.
Anything else on item 10?
Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
Okay, so there are components within some of the safety gear that are commodity type items. The material going into it may have changes in global. So when you purchase 100, right, it doesn't work for the vendor because they can only hold that price for so long. That's the issue in this case. I think the word change order is certainly alarming, but I do believe that there's always been a need. It's just that the vendor can't hold the price for that long. You don't go out and buy an 18-wheel truck of eggs, okay, because you know the price of eggs are going to change at some future point. You know you need them, you know you have to feed your family with them, but you don't need all of them now. So it's not like construction materials, some of the components that go into public safety, they're negotiable items on the market. So I think maybe change order is the wrong term to be used. I think we can clean that up, but the reasoning behind it makes sense to me.
We're going to see more of this. We're going to see more of it because of the economic environment that we're in, both domestically and globally. It's inevitable.
Yeah, the Dow just took an 800-point hit today.
So all the more reason why I think we should take a look at what Commissioner Good and the Vice Mayor have raised, and the city manager has been asked to take a look at that and get back to us with it. And,
One final point, I did
Yes.
want to thank administration because they did, I believe, Mr. Manager, secure the same pricing as before. I believe, I don't know if it was Mark or whomever, Jonathan, Mark, okay, I don't know. Oh, there you are. Thank you. You secured the same pricing, so I appreciate that. I want to call that out in a positive way, so thank you for what you did.
It's all positive. Thank you very much. Anything else on this? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? And that passes unanimously, and that concludes the consent agenda. Ordinances and resolutions. We're on resolutions. Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor Commissioner. For the record, item 15 is proposed resolution number 2025-R-16. There you go. Item 15 again is proposed resolution number 2025-R-16, a resolution of the City Commission, the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, approving and granting a non-exclusive underground easement to Florida Power and Light Company to provide for undergrounding of electric utility facilities in connection to the city's water treatment plant, Fletcher Park, and certain residential areas to the east of Fletcher Park. Authorizing and directing the city manager to execute the underground easement documents and related forms, providing for recordation, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for an effective date for your consideration, Mayor Commission.
Is there a motion? Moved by Commissioner Good. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Vice Mayor. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none. Any from the public? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Show passes unanimously.
For the record, Mayor, the final resolution number is 3906.
Thank you very much. We're on regular agenda, and you will recall from our last commission meeting, there was some discussion about the minutes, and I asked that these two items be put on regular agenda to accommodate the commissioners that had the concerns. Mr. City Manager.
Yes.
Item 16.
Yeah. What we have provided to you is the possibility of how the format of minutes could take place, and there were several different alternatives, and I do know over the years some of those alternatives were that what was recorded in the minutes was a motion and the vote on the motion and a designation as to who spoke on the motion, but no conversation and no transcription of that. The information is available online. If someone wanted to listen to it, they could. Another would be action minutes, which you could transcribe the gist of what was said by each individual who spoke. In this format, through WebEx, it's much easier because we can get it transcribed. The one set of minutes that became very difficult from the last minute meeting was that it was done through an iPad, and the issue was that it was very difficult to transcribe it because the clarity wasn't there. Another format of minutes, which I would certainly not recommend because it's very time-consuming, of verbatim minutes, and that is the transcription of every word everyone says, and it's very time-consuming, but it does give you an accurate reflection of what was the action that was taken on the item. So those are three different ones, which are the discussion minutes, the action minutes, and verbatim minutes.
Mr. City Attorney, is it the charter that commands us to take minutes?
The minutes are one of the three requirements of the Sunshine Law, Mayor.
It's in the Sunshine Law.
It is in state law, correct.
And I can understand, that that's probably been in the law for a very, very long time.
Since the late 70s.
Since the late 70s. Well, this is one of these arcane sort of things that we kind of have to do. But if you want the record, it's the video. You know, I can understand if there's a gross misstatement of or a very large discrepancy between what we recall and what was actually said. I remember in my formative years here in Broward County, Eileen Lieberman and Lori Parrish used to be the keepers of the Scrivener note. They would actually find misspellings, and they would find other things. I remember Mr. Dodge, Commissioner Armstrong playing that role here for many years. He would go through the minutes, and he would find that there was a word out of place or a comma that was missing or that kind of thing. And you know, that's maybe a little bit over the top for the times that we're in now. But certainly if there's a misstatement, I have to imagine that, you know, I mean, it's just an honest error. But this is something that that the state law requires us to do. We've been organized to do it in this particular manner for a long time. I can't imagine that it would be a good idea to incur additional expense or task staff beyond what they're already tasked to deal with minutes. What is your pleasure? What would you like to do with this?
Mayor, I think the city manager brings an extremely unique perspective since he was a city clerk. And I believe he's drawing from the time that he was the clerk, and then we moved to Eileen, and then Judy, and Marlene, and now we have Deborah. I do recall the collegial way that Commissioner Armstrong would correct things. When he retired, and there was a pivot from the commission. I was not on the commission at the time. There was a pivot back to what the city manager spoke to, which was motion was made, seconded by so-and-so member. These are the members of the public that spoke, but there wasn't any. It didn't go beyond that. Then I don't know when, Mayor, it started to kind of expand a little bit, and I think that's where we are now. We kind of got a little bit ahead, where, as I mentioned at the last meeting, I know what I'm thinking, but I certainly don't want to guess what Commissioner Good was thinking at that given moment, and I don't know if we should be burdened really to go through the dotting the I's and the commas to figure out to catch one of our oversights. I think going back to just there is video. Not only is there video, but you know what we didn't have back in the 70s? Live streaming. Now it's recorded, and you can go back and watch it, and you can actually hear what was said. I think the clerk's office can be less burdened even by having to just figure out who's going to, you know, what part's going to be pulled out of what item. I mean, even that, I think, is just, we need to get past that. You know, my feelings about actual printed books, you know, hopefully we'll get greener at some point. But I think we can start with the manager's suggestion. Let's go back to the way that it's going to be the most efficient. This is this person who made the motion. This was the second. This was the members of the public. Up, down, substitute motion, all that, and it's going to be a little bit more succinct. So those are my feelings on it.
Let me ask, Mr. Dodge, do you and your staff use the minutes every once in a while to sort of try to recall or get back to, rather than watching hours and hours of video, do you use the minutes to try to recall how something like went down at a meeting?
Well, actually, Mayor, I use my notes because anything that's, any comments that are made that I think are important that you give direction to me, that's what I review, and that's what I review with staff. I don't review the minutes per se for that.
You have your own notes?
I have my own notes. However, if there
Madam
was
Clerk?
something we weren't sure of, we'd go back and look at the video.
Madam Clerk, City Attorney, do you actually, is there utility within your disciplines for these minutes in terms of recalling who said what? And all that?
We occasionally use the minutes. More often, we go back and re-listen to the meetings to get better clarity if there's a particular issue we're looking closer at.
Yeah, I tend to do the same thing. And when you look at the advisory boards, their minutes are actually the old way that we used to do it. So I don't know, why don't you all, like, sort of decide this? This is really an administrative item. I don't know that we need to direct them unless you want to. Yes.
Well, that's what you're saying. Actually, directing them is actually a very important part of my conversation that I would like to have with this here. I don't disagree with minimizing. Commissioner Schwartz, very correct. I mean, you know, I did look at the last meeting minutes that we actually passed tonight without pulling. You know, I elected not to actually pull the item because I knew we were going to have this conversation. And what's most important was the audio quality was so poor that I couldn't blame anybody for what they wrote, because I couldn't even understand myself listening to the quality of our workshop for the budget and the meeting. I don't know what happened to the audio, but I invite any one of y'all to just go tomorrow and just briefly listen to it. You don't have to listen to everything, and see how that quality came out. So if you got poor quality or no sound, you know, these minutes in a little bit more of an expansive way are necessary, because there's no other record, because you can't understand. Oh, that's hard. So that's important. But another thing too that's missing here, I don't mind the action minutes, but you know what we miss when we do an action minute, and they're really actually not captured in the minutes we do right now. There are many times that you give direction to staff and it's not even in the minutes. And I think from now on, when, you know, if we do the action minute style, I agreed to that through Commissioner Schwartz, because, you know, I did look at the minutes that I had, and they were obviously just grab things, sound bites that I might have said that really missed the point that I was trying to make, you know, but it wasn't wrong, you know, but it didn't make the point. And yeah, we have the video, Mr. Mayor, as you said. So the point is, though, is that if we do the action, then maybe if there are directions to staff, we make them in action.
Yeah, I have to tell you, Mr. Dodge, that has occurred to me over the years as well. Like, for example, we might say to you, could you do us a favor and write us a memo about this and you know, get back to us? That should be part of the minutes. You know, those kinds of things should be in the minutes, and I don't disagree with that. But I think that if it was boiled down to discussion, and the only other thing, and I hate to burden people, but I would love to, even if it means that the minutes have to be delayed, I would love to see the item correlated to the the video.
That is available online already.
Yeah.
If you click on the agenda, it
matches up.
on the record, not on the YouTube, but on that one as well.
Yeah,
Which on the YouTube you can
you're
pull
right.
out the transcripts.
You're right. It is on that video. I'll take that back.
And,
But
Mr. Mayor, it's also very easy. If you look at Spotlight, it
Spotlight,
directs you right to the video
Right.
just for that section.
Yeah.
So you don't have to look at everything. You
Yeah,
see the
I guess-
action,
I guess-
and you hear everything that's going on, and those are published also on our website so the public to see. Commissioner Good, the comment you made was unusual because that night we used an iPad and wasn't any good. We're never going to do that again. It'll be through our system.
Good.
Because it does a closed caption, we can do verbatim.
Yeah.
And I don't know why we did it that way in the workshop, but we did, but it won't happen again. And that was the confusion, because it was very, very difficult to decipher because of the large room and the sound.
I appreciate that.
Mayor-
Mr. City Attorney, must minutes come back to us for a vote? Or-
Generally, the minutes do come back before the commission. for
Okay,
approval.
okay, thanks.
I would say that we all get the text message, right? Everyone gets text message. Depending on what mood you're in, you may look at the words differently. The inflection of the words may read differently. In my line of work, you know, the student says, he goes home and says, and asks, how'd you do today, son? I did well. The dad calls me, how did you do today? Well, so it's the inflection of our language can certainly be modified on how it's written. Change order. oh, that set off a reaction because it was written. I think there's, I think we've beaten this horse down pretty good. I think I feel comfortable that we're getting back to efficiency. And there will be times, colleagues, that we can certainly ask for a one section. There may be some really good discussion where we ask for that one item to be expanded upon. But I don't think we should do it, as a common practice to ask the clerk's office to pick and choose what's expanded and what's contracted, because that's more of a subjective type of approach. So I think we've gotten somewhere tonight, and I want to thank my colleagues for the consideration.
Okay. Commissioner Rodriguez.
I think I completely disagree. I think the discussion minutes that we have right now are the best balance between doing something verbatim and doing nothing at all, because reading the motions doesn't provide any kind of context. Additionally, while those things are recorded, it's a lot easier for me personally to go through and read the minutes as part of a summary of discussion. It's also our job to read the minutes and everything in the agenda to see if there's any issues. I've pointed out a couple of things, and if we have these discussion minutes and we are reading our agendas and seeing week by week what may have been transcribed incorrectly, maybe not even because the clerk transcribed it incorrectly, but because what we're thinking in our heads and what comes out of our mouths may be different at times. And while I may recall something, when I look back at the video, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I could have found a better way to say that, and I can understand how the clerk interpreted it differently. So I think that this does provide a really good balance, and it is a slight burden on us to read through a couple pages, but usually these minutes are not, textbook-like. They're fairly short, and reading through it, at least I go through and highlight where my name is, what I said, and I'll look back if I'm not sure of what I said or have 100% confidence, I pair it up with the video. And doing that part of our homework, I think, gives us the benefit of giving a summary online, as well as providing minutes that are balanced and not just transcribed, because reading through a full-on transcript obviously is very time-intensive and may not provide a good balance of providing these kinds of communications that ultimately and ideally our residents are looking at. I don't have the time, even if I put it at 2.5 speed, to see what happens on a video. And nobody has the time. But if somebody is interested, our minutes do give a good glance at that. And if we are doing our homework to make sure that our words are interpreted correctly, then I think we're good as is. And I appreciate the clerk putting down the pros and cons on this. So thank you.
Commissioner Rodriguez, if I might, and if you're not willing, just let me know. Would it be possible for you to meet with the clerk? We don't have to vote on item 16. It was really a discussion. There's no vote that needs to happen here, and I think it's important that anything that we do on something as, I'm looking for a better word than intimate, but close to us as the minutes, that it should be unanimous. Could I ask you to meet with the manager and the clerk about the minutes and see, how we can resolve the concerns that you've heard on the dais, and maybe that you could come back with an item on how the minutes should be. Is that something that you would be willing to do?
I don't know. I'm willing to do that. I just don't know if I would bring anything different than what's currently being done.
Well, and you might. But if you can, if you would take that on for us, I think it would be an important thing. I just feel that on something that involves our speech, we should be unanimous on this. So rather than calling, a vote or a consensus or this, that, and the other thing, because we have some very intelligently presented different views, if you would take that assignment on, and I'd appreciate it.
Then I would like some kind of feedback as to which one of the options presented is that everybody is favoring at the moment.
I was hearing something of a consensus to go with the city manager's first option, which was to to just record the actions. And Commissioner Good wanted, and I think it was a point very well made, that any sort of direction that we give to administration, that should be included in the minutes.
And Mayor.
And then your comment was that you sort of liked the non-abbreviated, though abbreviated, format that we have been using. And so, because I feel that it, that it really should be unanimous, I was wondering if you would, come back to us with what you think would work.
Yeah, I'm willing to do that.
Thank you very much.
And-
Any
and-
further discussion?
No, just, and Commissioner Rodriguez, there is a place for that transcription. I think we have that opportunity to direct the clerk to do that, just like we would direct the clerk, the city manager for a memo on a specific item. And I think that may be able to bridge the gap or may not, but I look forward to, the next conversation on this.
All right. Item 17, we must vote on. So, item 17, city clerk. Well, I guess city clerk, yeah. City attorney, if you can read it.
Excuse me, Mayor, Commissioner. Item 17 is a motion to approve the minutes of the May 7th, 2025 regular commission meeting.
First, we need a second. There's a motion made by Commissioner Good. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by the Vice Mayor. Discussion. Hearing none. Any from the public? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Reports of the league. Commissioner Rodriguez.
I attended the general meeting last week. So last week, and it was, the guest speaker was Marty Kier, which touched upon some of the things that we had already pointed out, specifically regarding property tax revenue. He made some really interesting points as to what the legislation is doing. However, obviously, that's still a moving target, and we'll see what legislation comes down the pipeline by the end of session. But I did want to make sure that everybody had received, and it might have only been sent to the mayor, and I personally requested it to be sent to myself, but from Lisa Chung, I believe it was requested by State Representative Marie Woodson. Lisa was able to put together a breakdown of the budget as to what we receive from property taxes as well as what our expenditures are. And I'd like to highlight, and this is something that Marty Kier also highlighted, in general, obviously not specific to our city because he was talking to the whole Broward League, but it is an example of some of the aspects he talked about, that those property tax revenues are such a large portion of what our cities take in, and we spend the majority of those on public safety. So I just wanted to point out property tax revenues for the 2024-2025 general fund adopted budget is about $100 million, which is 37% of our budget. And for just public safety, we spend about $166 million, which is 61% of our budget. So I think it highlights the comments we made last time, making sure that we are really working with all of the governmental partners, whether it's Marty Kier's office, Abby Ajayi's office at the tax collector, and anybody else of the legislation that is willing to represent and bring our ideas forward on this, because I think this is one of the biggest issues we're going to be facing moving not just out of this legislative session, but into the next one. So I believe Marty does come on a yearly basis. So I look forward to having him come by, and his office does provide office hours in our lobby at City Hall. If somebody can provide that information to the public as to when those are, because I see their outreach team here every once in a while working on property taxes, exemptions, things like that, and their program to prevent deed fraud is something that he highlights every time, and he's highlighted it to us here in the past. So if we can get communication regarding when he comes to visit, I know they do it on their end, but if our communications team can also let people know that Marty's team does come here, and they can get
Madam Clerk,
one-on-one.
if you could call the property appraiser's office and ask him and ask them when we might expect property appraiser Kier. He does make the rounds every year. If you could ask him when he anticipates coming to Pembroke Pines, or if he can anticipate when he's coming to Pembroke Pines, that would be appreciated.
Mayor, at the last meeting, I announced that on the 15th, that the general meeting was canceled, and that was based upon an email cancellation I got on my phone. The next day, I got with Julie Lukoski, which turned into a response from Mary Lou, which turned into an investigation through Matt Keffer, because I thought I was being compromised. We're still trying to work out the issue, but I have cancellations on my phone coming directly for events that are, sometimes they get added and sometimes not. So we did, without getting into too much on live TV, we did a scrub, but I wanted to make sure that the record that I had stated at the last meeting was based upon what I had received on my phone. And certainly the 15th, the event went on. So I made sure that that was communicated. So with respect to the rest of the league, I will be attending the June 5th meeting in Hollywood. And of course, we have the installation a few days later.
Mr. Dodge, are you aware of this investigation?
No, Mayor, I'm not.
Can you do us a favor and speak to Mr. Kefford
Yeah.
About it and memo us? Because if there's some sort of vulnerability with the
Yeah.
systems, I think we should all know about it.
Yeah. So
Well, if it was on
yeah.
a phone, we wouldn't capture it unless it was an email that
Correct.
No,
was
that's what he's talking about.
that you got.
I can get with you offline because I don't want to say too much other than that. But Mr. Keffer was extremely helpful. We spoke on that Friday after I received email confirmation from the league the day after our meeting, and we've been working through some things, and I can certainly get with you after the meeting tonight, sir. But it does not appear to be on system. There's just something. There's something. I don't want to go any further, Mayor, but I'm getting cancellations. I was at a general meeting.
You getting this?
Months ago,
You can cancel it?
Mayor, I was at a meeting months ago where I was actually at the meeting, and I got a cancellation of the meeting itself, and I showed Mary Lou, and she goes, I mean, the meeting was actually happening. I'm like, look, here's my phone.
That's kind of scary.
I didn't think much of it, and then all of a sudden, like I said, Keffer's been great, and we're gonna figure this thing out. So,
Matthew's
thank you,
here
Mayor.
if you want to ask him.
I don't want to ask on live TV, Manager. But we'll get down to it. Whatever's found out will be. Whatever is determined, I want it to be shared with my colleagues.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to go back to Commissioner Rodriguez's report. I just have a question. Because, when you think about us providing information on what is our tax dollar, what percent of our budget. And so the first thing I was thinking of is when you referenced that our tax dollars was like 31% of our budget. Was that about correct? 37%. Is that based on, our entire budget of all things, or is that,
That was the report, Commissioner, that we prepared. The league had asked us, the state had asked us as to our ad
It's a
valorem
general
dollars.
fund, right?
And what the commission is referring to is 37% reflects the percentage of the ad valorem dollars that we collect.
Yeah,
Of
but
the total
compared
budget.
to
The general fund.
Of the general fund.
of the general fund, and all items in the general fund don't include some of these special things that we might do that other cities don't do. For instance, we do housing, at a very large level. Do we have monies that are in general fund for the housing?
Housing is in the general fund.
No, every fund in the general fund in other words, the public safety represented, if you're talking about expenditures, we're talking about how the dollars is collected. 37% of it is through ad valorem. The balance of it is through other revenues, which could be sales tax, gas tax, and everything else. The housing element also is in that budget. Community services.
But not utilities, not pension
No,
funds?
it's not utilities or
What else
any
is
of the
it?
special funds.
What else is under your umbrella that's not in the general fund? So it's the pension, it's utilities, it's
Well,
what
no,
else?
pension is within it. They have its
The
own
school.
trust fund, but they're also incorporated in the general fund.
Okay.
What's in the, what you have is the funds, you have the general fund, you have a road and bridge fund, you have a utility fund, and there's a whole series of enterprise funds and trust funds that make up the total budget of the city.
Right.
But what the commission is referring to is simply the general fund, and that was presented at the budget meeting that we had Monday night to your committee, and it was shared based upon a dollar, like the ad valorem dollars collected, about a third of all ad valorem dollars that people pay. A third of it are for city, a third of it's for county, and the other third are for other jurisdictions.
And 61%, as I recall, of the ad valorem goes to public safety.
Well, I don't have a question on, that, I understand that. I just wanted to make sure, though, that our, general fund isn't composed of things that are unusual to other cities. That, because for me, I'm just making sure that, we're normalized to other cities, because if we do have other revenues coming in, then there's a misrepresentation that, our ad valorem tax dollars at 31% is still pretty low. When you consider it's like a $300 million budget.
The calculation of your general fund budget is pretty similar to every other city. Now, we might have a special project that another city doesn't have, but that's on the expenditure side. But
Well, I haven't seen what the other cities are, too, in terms of their percentage. So if you're saying that it's a consistent,
well, it wouldn't
within
be
a
the same
range.
because ad valorem rates are different, taxable values are different. You can't compare the tax base of us with Fort Lauderdale or Hollywood.
He's speaking in categorical terms.
Okay.
we're in the range of
Yes.
everybody else.
Anything else? All right. We will be adjourning to go into executive session. That'll be on the fourth floor. And if there's nothing else.
Mr.
we
Mayor,
are-
if I
Yes.
may, just one quick item under the city attorney report, if I may.
Oh,
have.
I'm sorry.
Assistant City Attorney Mike Cirillo, just very briefly, Mayor, thank you.
I didn't see an item listed, so I.
Good
It's
evening.
okay.
No, I
It's
just was
fine.
following up.
Go right ahead.
Tonight, Mike Cirillo, City Attorney's Office. Tonight, we were going to remind you that we had a hearing in the large user agreement case on June 3rd. Yesterday, we sent you a memorandum update that our special counsel believes that they'll be able to resolve that without having the hearing on June 3rd in that case. If you have any questions, just contact our office, and we'll update you once we get confirmed that that is moving forward as she anticipates.
I did read your memo. I thought it looks like we're getting close to the end on this, and that's good news.
We still have the main appeal going. This is for the supplemental for the years that were not included in the original final judgment. So
Any
we're moving
questions
forward.
on the matter? Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
What was that? Okay, we're adjourned.